Alright, good morning pre-algebra. So I need your extra special attention on this video. I know that you have said, and some of you requested, like to have live instruction. Some of you want the video. Again, we got to do a little bit of both. But for those of you who have a hard time with the video, please, please, please focus really hard on this instruction. Again, it's stuff that you know, but we're just tweaking it to help it make a little bit more sense. And it's a new idea. But again, it's stuff that you already know. But first, our joke. We got to get a little funny, a little goofy before we get serious. So, why did the police officer smell? Because he was on duty. That's it, on duty. Get it? Got it? Good. Alright, jumping into the math now. So, again, maybe writing it down helps you, but whatever you do, we're going to look at kind of a couple different steps on creating an equation when we're not given much information. So the first thing is that we're still talking about our slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Remember, m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay? So yesterday we were looking at creating an equation when they were giving you information, and so that's what we're going to start out with now. So here is example number 1. We are given slope equals 1/2 and our y-intercept equals -5. Alright, so I need to set up, obviously we have our y equals. Remember, we got to put in our slope. So we have 1/2 x is always there. And are we doing plus? No, we actually have a minus. So we have -5. Sorry, our slope-intercept equation is y equals 1/2 x minus 5. Pretty simple. Again, just you're plugging in what they tell you as your slope and your y-intercept. Make sure you put them in your right places. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. You can handle it. Next thing is that they're going to give you a graph. So please look at the bottom of the page. Again, I'm at page 447. This is a similar graph. I tried to copy it at the best of my ability, but now they've just given you a graph, so you have to create your equation by what you can know from the graph. So what we can know is, first thing, like I always look at the y-intercept. There's our y-intercept, and when I look at that graph, the line crosses the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Positive or negative? That would be -5, so I'm just going to say y equals -5 for y-intercept. And then now we got to find slope. So I'm going to put that as m. And slope, remember, is rise over run. So when I check out the graph, I can see that we go up 2 and then over to the right 1. So that would be 2. So now I can set up my equation. Y equals 2x minus 5. There it is. -5. Did I count wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. I counted wrong. Sorry. Y equals positive 2x minus 4. Okay? Pretty simple. I feel like you can get it. Now, what it's going to be is, what if they only give us 2 points on the graph? So turn the page. I'm on 448 now. And we are going to be using our similar looking y2 minus y1, our slope equation. So we know how to find slope. So here we go. It says, write the equation for the line that passes through 4, 8, and -2, 5. So here we go. Let's go to work. So first, let's find the slope. So m equals 5 minus 8 over -2 minus 4. So 5 minus 8 is -3. And then we have -2 minus 4. So that would be -6. We have a negative over a negative. So these actually cancel out. So we have a positive 1/2. That is our slope. Now, here's the thing. We have to find our y-intercept. And here is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to kind of morph this equation, and I'm going to tell you how. So pretend we're doing algebra, and we are going to get our x's and our y's on opposite sides. And so here's kind of how it works. So for example, if we wanted to get our y's all by itself, we do the opposite, right? So what's happening between our y's, this upper section, and our x's is division, so we're going to set it up as multiplication. So here's how our problem is going to look. We're actually going to have y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1. So do you follow that? Because I wanted to get the y's all by themselves, we can, since we have division happening down here, we can move it as multiplication over there. Okay, you follow? So now this is the equation we are working with. Got it? Maybe? Okay, so now here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to plug in one of our points. We're going to plug in our 4 and our 8 because we now know our m. So with that, we'll be able to find our mystery point. So again, this is the same process that's happening in your textbook. So now we'll work it out together. So I am going to plug in our y1 and our x1. Okay, so here's how it looks. We have our y1 is 8, so we have y2 minus 8 equals 1/2 times, remember x2's got to stay there, x2 minus, what is it, 4. There we go. I'm getting a little slow. Alright, so now that we don't really have any other x's or y's, I'm just going to erase these. We don't need to worry about 2 or anything. So now you can see we're getting closer to our y equals mx plus b. But now we're finding our b. Alright, so what we need to do is we're going to get y all by itself. But we need to look at our parentheses over here. So we have 1/2 times x minus 4. So now that equals 1/2 x minus 2. And we still have y minus 8. So to get y all by itself, we add 8 to each side, just like normal algebra. And we end up with y equals 1/2 x plus 6. And that's our final answer. So again, this is the equation that I used. We knew our m. We took our intercepts, our first intercepts, plugged it into this equation so that we're left with our y equals equation. Making follow? I feel like this one's going to be a tough one, so I'm going to do another example. I got to go back. Here we go. So here's the next example. So right below, at number 2, it says write an equation that passes through 3, 0, and 6, negative 3. Alright, so we have we need to find our slope first. So we have y equals negative 3 minus 0. Then we have 6 minus 3. So that leaves us with negative 3 over 3, which equals negative 1. So now negative 1 equals our m. Alright? So just as a reminder, the equation that we use, we've separated our y's. So we have y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1. So there's our equation. Let's plug in our numbers. So we just have y now minus 0 equals m, not m, sorry. We found our m. We found our slope. Equals negative 1 times x minus 3. Okay? Plugged in things that we know. I took this point. So now we can solve. So y minus 0 is just y. So y equals negative 1 times x would be negative x. And then negative 1 times negative 3 would be positive 3. So we have y equals negative x plus 3. And that is the correct answer. So those are our steps. Okay, I hope you follow. Remember, we just started out by finding slope. That's something that you knew. But remember, this is the key formula. Write this down on your page. Really important. You'll come back to it. All right, the last example is you're going to be given a set, a graph, a table, instead of intercepts. But remember, we can turn these into intercepts. So I'll just immediately turn these intercepts, and you'll know what to do. So for example, this would be 4, negative 2, and then our second set would be 8, 1. Okay, plain and simple. Do the same steps that I just did on this page, and you will find your equation. So first find the slope, then you use our funky formula, y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1. I'm just so excited, I can't even get my numbers right. And you will find then your equation once you find the slope. Okay? Please, if you don't understand, raise your hand. I'll go through this again. But please work hard. I know you can do this, you can manage it, and I will see you in real life.